Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another Walking Dead Rick leaving video for The Walking Dead Season 9. In this one, we're going to be giving our thoughts on the theory first. We'll get into your guys' Q&A questions afterwards, but could we maybe see Rick be picked up by a helicopter, go missing, never to be seen again? Or until, like, the series actually does fully end. Yeah. And yes, so continuing along with these kind of daily Walking Dead videos right now. Of course, we'll have some stuff for Fear as well, too. I did a review, as per usual, for Fear and all that usual stuff for the new episode of Fear. Mid-season finale this weekend for Fear the Walking Dead Season 4. But yeah, just continuing along with the whole Rick discussion. We haven't had a whole lot of new information come out regarding it. There's some sites saying that AMC may actually make a statement for this one. So we'll see if that's actually true and if they actually do. It's such huge news. Maybe they'll break protocol and they'll actually kind of say something about it. They didn't really say anything about Lauren Cohan's departure as Maggie. They just really said that they thought she would resign. They were confident she would resign and what have you. But for Rick, man, I mean, this one is really crazy as time goes on. You know, everything seems to be pointing to him leaving the series. It's all over the web, absolutely. And with Season 9 being Andrew Lincoln's last season on the show. So, in this one, we're going to give our thoughts on the theory. And it's not my theory. You know, it just is the same as the video I did on Monday. These are not... Most of these are not my theories. I'm not coming up with these. It's, you know, what you guys are saying in comments, and then I'm using that in the Q&A videos here with you. So this one came from John Lott, who says, the helicopter lands near Rick while on a supply run. He gets in, and he is taken away. So some other people compared it to like a Jack Bauer, Russians helicopter thing. And we have seen the helicopter around. It's kind of been around here and there. So is that something that we could see maybe Rick, let's say Rick gets involved in some kind of firefight or something, gets knocked down, let's say he gets knocked back or something and hits his head or something, goes into some kind of coma or kind of loses consciousness, and then somebody in a helicopter comes and picks him up and takes him out of there, and we don't see him again until the end of the series at the Commonwealth, which could be in like 4 seasons or something. So in that case, he would actually, Andrew Lincoln would have to come back if you do the missing idea, but it would be like way later on. Like it'd be near the end of the series. You could have him come back even in, if he really didn't want to do it at all, you could have him come back just for the last episode or something, and they could kind of do it at that point. So that's kind of one way they could sort of use the storyline to try to write it in, to have it make sense to have Rick leave without actually killing him. So let me know what you guys think about this one, too. Leave a comment below just how you're feeling about this one. I mean, and guys, like, here's the thing. Like, I'm saying, too, I don't really see any other way out of this but killing him off. Like, you kind of have to, you know, if he's not going to continue on, and the series is going to continue on so far as we know, it hasn't been officially renewed yet for Season 10, which is a topic for video as well, too. We'll get into later on, probably this week or next week. But the thing is like, they have other contracts. They have other things going on. Talking Dead has been renewed, I believe, through Season 10. So it brings into question, like, if you have all these other shows going on, all this other stuff, just because Andrew Lincoln is leaving, does that mean you can end the whole show at the end of Season 9, regardless of whatever kind of fan response there will be when Rick leaves, be it either being killed off, which most, and I'm saying too as well, guys, I'm thinking most likely he's going to be killed off, right? I mean, we're doing these videos, but we're also saying, like, we think him being killed off is the top option here in The Walking Dead. You know, everybody dies eventually, right, in the series, I suppose, except for the ones that maybe survive until the series eventually does end, which could still be at least a year or 2 years off. But yeah, the whole thing is like Charlie, a direwolve, says here, Trev, I love The Walking Dead, but maybe it's just time for it to end. And the thing is, this brings into another topic as well, too, which we can also focus on later, is the storyline. You guys are referring to the storyline, right? You're saying that storyline-wise, you would want to see The Walking Dead end with Rick. You're talking storyline. The problem is with that, you have other factors here. If Talking Dead has already been renewed for Season 10, how are you going to do Talking Dead when The Walking Dead is over, like each week, unless you do some kind of like look back each year on like the prior episodes or something of the series. I don't know what you would do for that. I mean, I guess it's possible to kind of work around it, but you'd think if the show has already been kind of set up and if AMC has already purchased, because I believe they purchased filming locations and studios and things like this for this series for the long term, what does that look like if the series ends? You have this property, you have these things that you've acquired for the show. How are you going to use that if you're going to wrap the series up? So even though I think Andrew Lincoln leaving is an abrupt information for us to get, like all of a sudden he's leaving the series, I'm sure that they would have probably announced it that this is going to be the last year of The Walking Dead, if that in fact is what they plan on doing. It doesn't look like, from what we're hearing, that's what they're planning on. It looks like, because they have all these things in motion already, even if storyline wise you want it to end, you can't really just end it right there because of all this other stuff you have in motion. You have all these other things happening, deals and licensing and whatever the hell else, and Talking Dead being renewed and all this other stuff going on, that even if Rick is to leave, you can't really just wrap it up like that. And of course, the problem with the helicopter theory is that would he want to do that? Because this is what I'm thinking is that I'm thinking the death makes the most sense of any of these ideas, because if you have him survive on in any way, whether it be he goes missing, he's captured by somebody, something happens to him, he decides to leave on his own and just leave the group behind after he's built the new world, any of these kind of theories or any of these kind of ideas, they all bring into kind of question that if he leaves now, he'll have to come back later at some point, before the series itself actually fully ends. If he's picked up in a helicopter, brought to the Commonwealth, when you introduce the Commonwealth, in season 12 or 13 or something, he'd have to come back for a little while. Now, if he's okay with that, if he's cool with that, then great. That would work out and everything would be, a happy type of, for storyline wise, it'd be a kind of a happy ending type of deal, to where, you could kind of work that in. I just don't see it. I kind of feel like if he wants to leave, he'll probably leave for good, and then if they want to continue the series on afterwards with AMC, that's up to them to do, and it looks like they will want to do that. So, with him kind of leaving this way, you kind of have to kill him off and move on afterwards with the story, and whatever kind of story you have, even if it's not focused on Rick anymore, because of course he was killed. So that's kind of where I'm thinking about this one, and why I don't really like these theories so much, is that he would have to agree to come back, which I don't think he's probably going to want to do. He probably would want to, if he's going to leave now, wipe his hands clean of The Walking Dead and move on with his career in other directions. Maybe do movies, maybe do another big series where he can, do really well or whatever, and kind of move on in that way. Or maybe just retire and spend time with his family till eventually he gets bored and he decides he'll do something else for fun or something, right? Something like this, right? I tend to think he wouldn't probably agree to come back eventually. Like that would be like, that'd be like, it's not what you want. If you want out, you don't want to agree to, okay, I'll take a break for 3 years and then come back for half a season, or come back for, a full season or an episode when it's just wrapping up. You kind of would want to wipe your hands clean of it entirely and probably move on for good if that's what you want. So that's why I don't really like this whole theory or this whole idea too much of this options. And for me, I don't see any other way but really just killing them off and moving forward. But again, I could be wrong, and maybe I have limited imagination. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Is it a given for you too? Are you feeling the same way I am, that it's a given that you have to kill him off if he's going to leave, and you don't think that he would want to come back or agree to come back at some point in the future? Dixo Gaming says, really, Trev, another Rick video, let us grieve, man. So yeah, so it's like, the thing is, I know I made a lot this week, and I'm going back to work on Friday, so don't worry, guys. I won't be making that much after my vacation's over, but since I'm on vacation here and there's a big news and stuff, enjoying doing these videos with you guys. I'm going to continue right on doing them. There's lots of time till the series comes back. We'll have lots of time to discuss all the different possibilities, all the different options here, and kind of refine this down to what makes the most sense. The trailer should help as well, too. We'll get to see that. We'll get some information about that. And maybe eventually we'll hear AMC kind of, say something, or somebody at AMC kind of comment on this and what the future of the series will be like with Andrew Lincoln leaving. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to continue to make, lots of videos for you guys. And also, whichever way you want to go with this, I'm going to continue on with doing this until the series does eventually end. So, listen, if it ends in season 9, then we'll just have this last fun year together, guys. We'll enjoy the series for last year that it's on. And when it's over, eventually I'll, move on from making Walking Dead videos to other things, other topics, and other stuff. But, like I said, there's other things that can happen here, and licenses and what have you. Don't focus on just storyline, because there's more at play here than just the storyline. Obviously, AMC is not going to want to let The Walking Dead go until the absolute end. I mean, they even added on Fear and everything else too, right? So they're going to want Walking Dead for as long as they can do it for as long as it'll work for. And so, I do think we'll get past season 9 is what I'm predicting. I do think so. But we'll see. If more people fall out, if more people decide, if Norman Reedus decides that he's, no matter what the money, he's out, then okay, now we might start talking like, okay, maybe they will have to end it at season 9, because otherwise who the hell knows what they would even do after that, right? It's like, you kind of have to. So, crazy stuff. But yeah, I'm going to continue right on, and I hope you guys like the videos. Hope you do. I know I published a lot this last week or so, but it's the biggest Walking Dead news we've had, pretty much the most important thing for Walking Dead since the season 7 premiere and the discussion of who Negan was going to kill. Ever since that, this for me is the most interesting news, or the biggest thing to happen to Walking Dead since then, for good or for bad, for better or for worse. It's definitely a huge thing to see this happening in the series, to see your lead want to leave. And for me, I'm really interested in talking about it with you guys and giving our thoughts here and finding out what makes sense. And, even if it's just prediction or speculation based, what we'll likely see is, it's very exciting for me. Patrick Thomas says, what's the point of Negan without Carl or Rick? And it's true, man. I mean, if you have Negan in there, but you don't have Rick or you don't have Carl, it's like, what the hell would be the reason to have him? Like, you're going to have Negan interact with Daryl? Granted, that actually could be kind of funny, too, right? So, like, Negan bothering Daryl, and Daryl just beats him up or something. Smacks him or something, something like that. It could work, too, actually. But, I hear what you're saying, and it's really true, man. I mean, if you look at the Walking Dead comic book series, you look at all the storylines that are coming up, how can you do those without Carl and without Rick? Like, what are those going to be like? Or Andrea, too, It's like you have just nobody. So I guess they'll have to become even more. The writers will have to do even more work, come up with even more stuff that's going to be interesting for the series and how they can kind of spin it to make the audience care for those new characters and what they're going to do. It's going to be really tricky to see, but interesting and fun as well. Kevin Thorne says, at this point, I'm hoping he survives at least through the mid-season finale. And yeah, that's true, man, for Kev here. I agree, man. Hopefully we at least get to see him for the first half. If it's in the mid-season finale, he leaves or is killed off or whatever, then fine, but I hope we at least get to see the first half season with him in, and I think he will be there for most of the first half. It's possible it could only be 3 or 4 or 5 episodes, but I'd heard it was 6, so 8 episodes for the first half. Maybe he's in 6 of them, or maybe it goes just over half. Whatever the case may be, hopefully at least to the mid-season finale episode, and or hopefully even further, but we'll see. Giuseppe DeRosa says, just end The Walking Dead in season 9 and make a spin-off. Well, they already have Fear the Walking Dead, which is companion, and now it has the same timeline, so it already kind of has a spin-off, really, if you think about it. I don't think it would be a good decision to end the Walking Dead original series and then do like a Walking Dead 2.0 or something like that. Especially because you're doing it each season with 16 episodes, and if you're going to do a different series, you kind of have to take maybe a year off or 2. So I'd kind of like to see it continue on if they can, but how this whole thing is going to go, I really have no idea. Jesse Price says, hey Trev, I don't know how true this is, but Lauren Cohan was confirmed to be leaving The Walking Dead. Have you seen anything? And thanks. And, again, we have to be careful with the way we use the word confirmed or is confirmed, What we're doing here is speculation. We don't know 100% any of this. It's possible that this whole thing turns out to be nonsense and none of it is true and Rick actually survives on longer, right? It just really doesn't look like it right now. And with Maggie as well, too, she was one originally that we were talking about mostly about her leaving because she has another series she's doing, and we didn't know how many episodes she was going to do and this kind of thing, and would she be part-time or full-time or what this looks like. So, yeah, maybe you kill both of them off in the mid-season finale or something like that. Heads on pikes or whatever, so we'll see. Astrophysics says, Trev, have you seen Norman Reedus' reply to a comment about Andrew Lincoln leaving on his recent Instagram post? And we'll end with this one for this video, guys. He says, Norman replies to the comment with, "You got it wrong." So this was when, I think this was deleted because I couldn't find it and I looked for it, but I've heard a number of you guys say this. So if it is still online, you can post it in a link below to the page where you see this on Instagram or whatever with his comment. But what I had heard is from this, I don't know if this is legitimate at all. Someone had said that basically Gimple's decisions to kill off Carl and what they did with that most likely caused Andrew Lincoln to want to leave, and Norman Reedus had replied, "You got it wrong." Now, what is he referring to? Is he referring to maybe Andrew Lincoln just wants to leave because he's really tired and he's been doing it for so many years, leaving his family, at home and coming over to the States and doing all his work and everything, and it's just, such a pain to do that he's not going to want to sign a contract for another 7 years or something crazy like that to do it further, and that's what they wanted him to do. So with him saying "you got it wrong," he could be referring to that, like referring to it as it wasn't, Scott Gimple's fault that Andrew Lincoln is leaving. It's more like he's leaving because, it's so much work to do. He's been doing it for so long that it's so hard to do, leaving his family back there. So I think that's what he meant by "you got it wrong." But is it possible he could be referring to the whole leaving thing as in like, "You got it wrong that they're killing him off and that he's going to be gone forever," or something like this? I guess it's possible. And again, you guys can leave comments below as well too. The way I'm seeing it right now is like I think he was referring to it as it being Gimple's fault that he's leaving. Of course, that's not something that he's gonna say. Like, you're not gonna say, yeah, you're gonna defend. They worked together for many years, obviously, right? I'm sure they had a good rapport, good relationship there. I'm sure they all did, to be able to work together for so long and everything, which is great. But yeah, it probably is just really overall the amount of time the series has been going on for, all the episodes, how hard it was to film season 8, how difficult it is to do a show like The Walking Dead. It's not an easy show to do, and then how difficult it is to leave your family at home and to have to come all the way down there for that many months on end of the year after year after year. Your wife is getting pissed off at you. She's like, "You're leaving again?" Tell them you're done, something like this, right? So you can picture this kind of stuff. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment below. Those are my thoughts on that one and the whole idea or theory of Rick somehow kind of disappearing and going off and then eventually coming back in the series later. Let me know what you guys think, and if you like this video, please thumb it up below. You can also share and favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it, and you can do it. You can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.